Christie relived his glory days at a Bruce Springsteen concert. The New Jersey governor was spotted singing along and dancing to 10th Avenue Freeze Out. Tuesday's show was Christie's second Springsteen concert this year. And Christie certainly got his money's worth. The boss broke his own record-length performance with a 4-hour and 1-minute concert. The Tuesday night show erases his previous record-long performance
Christie,
from the week before.
Showing it off. And yeah, this is Scapegoats, episode 3. I'm Romney.
That's
Baker.
Yep. And
Okay.
First up, I just want to say our thoughts and prayers go out to California, especially with Hurricane Hilary going on and the 5.1 earthquake that just happened during the hurricane.
Yeah, that all happened yesterday. That was insane.
If people are calling it a hurricane.
It kind of was. California's never really experienced things like this. Through the western United States, 16 million people from southern California are northern to Idaho with all these flood watches. It's like a post-tropical cyclone, a historic amount of rainfall. I mean, schools have been shuttered, flights canceled. It's, yeah.
Yeah.
So, thoughts go out. Yeah.
So we are possibly going to see. So the first thing, and I want to put this out right now. So within the time that we are recording, we are expected to get a full list of candidates who have qualified for the RNC debate that is coming up on the 23rd. Obviously, we are recording on the 21st. And are we going to live stream that?
I think we will be.
All right.
Without bearing any setbacks. I know Trump will be with Tucker Carlson. That interview will also be live Thursday. But yeah, so there could be, I think there already has been a little bit of breaking news throughout the day. And even, a lot of breaking news before we recorded last episode, which was, the confirming of Trump being indicted for a 4th time in Georgia with 19 defendants. This time, names, Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, Mark Meadows, Kenneth Chesebro, Jeffrey Clark, Jenna Ellis, Sidney Powell, all that coming out for in the RICO Act, racketeering, something that Rudy had put in place as being Southern District of New York as a prosecutor, and now showing us he's been having to sell his apartment and he's really in financial jeopardy. Throughout, but especially knew that 18 indictments and like 30 some co-conspirators, and that's been so. I think there today was Trump had a $200,000 bond released, and he said he will surrender at an Atlanta jail on Thursday for the interference case. So
before or after the interview with Tucker Carlson?
Yeah, so that he already recorded it. So it'll be playing out Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah, now that's 91 charges, with theoretically over 700 years in prison. Just the latest on that.
And I just want to point out, RICO cases have been seen widely across hip hop in the past few years, especially with, the New York and with the New York drill scene as a greater whole, but specifically Brooklyn and the Bronx. They got absolutely slammed in RICO cases.
I don't know.
Good.
There was the latest one. There was another RICO case for like a rapper in Georgia, right?
In Atlanta, the YSL case, and that involved Young Thug.
Mm-hmm.
They also got YSL's opposition, YFN, including their leader, who is another popular rapper, YFN Lucci.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's insane. And there was another RICO case in Florida involving rappers like LPB Pootie, Glock 9, and Hot Boy. And then the most notable one, I think, because nobody knew who these guys were prior to it. This actually happened in Dorchester, Massachusetts, when
Oh.
something like 30 members of the HSM Street Gang, including the rappers G Fredo and 7981 Cal, got picked up on RICO charges.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to point out that G Fredo and 7981 Cal, they had collaborations with rappers like K Flock, Polo G. You know, they were on the come up, and
Yeah.
the Boston music scene has really died because of that.
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, you really it comes rappers and organized crime, not politicians. So it's a, but it's definitely a interesting thing that's come up in that you don't that we've never seen. You know, things like this in the past months. Yeah.
I think
I
this
mean,
is the first like extreme like RICO case, and the reason I'm
oh
calling
yeah,
this extreme here is because we have never seen anything like this before, ever. You know, when the RICO Act was implemented in the 70s to catch all the mafia dons, you know, sure there were some high-ranking people there, but we have never seen a former president or a former mayor of New York indicted under RICO charges.
yeah, Rudy with 13, and I mean even like Mark Meadows with 2 charges. Like surprised to like even see other names like that you wouldn't think brought in the mix. So it's definitely surprising. And then other people like Lindsey Graham and saying I'm pissed. Ted Cruz just and Carrie Lake even comparing it to Epstein's stuff. So there's a variety of reactions.
No, Carrie Lake, I do want to get into that because we did not get to get into that
Yeah.
in the last episode, but in her efforts to, I'm trying to find a way to put this here. I guess in her efforts to belittle the transgender community, she told someone to milk a bull,
Oh yes.
which honestly, it kind of begs a question here. Um, is Carrie Lake a zoophile? Because I've seen a lot of stuff coming out about, that whole situation, and people were like, "Oh my god, she's probably a zoophile." And just looking deeper into that, I can't say for sure, but I do have some suspicion on that.
She would never confirm. She probably wouldn't even tell you what that meant. But
She probably couldn't tell you what that meant.
yeah. But yeah, that's definitely something funny to bring up. Yeah, I think the latest. President Biden visited Maui today, which I know a lot of people were think about time. That it was a while, but he's there now. Visiting the fire ravaged in Lahaina and meeting with survivors. I think now 850 people are still missing, and I think the death toll is over 100.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, it's just a terrible situation all around. And a lot of people are saying Biden hasn't done enough, but you have to remember that being the president, he's an extremely busy man. Obviously he's having to deal with this. I'm with like all the stuff coming out of Eastern Europe right now, which by the way, the State Department just put out a warning: all American citizens should leave Belarus within the next 48 hours.
Wow.
Something is going down there because they put a warning out for Sudan a couple months ago, and then Niger about a week or two ago.
Yep, the war going on in there, yeah, with trying to overthrow. Definitely the intensities up there.
Yeah, world tension is almost at 100% here. So a lot of stuff we could talk about. Obviously, we probably don't have time to get into all of that, but I do want to circle back to the fires for a second. Japan donated $2 million in aid.
They did do that. A lot of people, I think, say as they should, like payback to.
Oh my God, no.
Pearl Harbor. A lot of people are being, it isn't. Yeah, it's their time. It's their credit. So, a lot of people, we're not surprised. I know, the Ukraine death toll had hit 500,000, I think, throughout in total, just the latest with it, because we haven't really touched on that, because it's always going on since 2022.
Yeah. Well, the war in Ukraine, that actually, we're just getting some news right now. A Ukrainian drone has destroyed a Russian supersonic bomber. This coming from BBC News.
Wow.
It was a Tupolev Tu-22 drone, and it was reportedly on fire after being destroyed in a drone strike. It was a Tupolev Tu-22. I don't know why I said drone, because Tupolev was a plane, but yeah, it suffered a drone strike at Soltsi 2 Air Base, which is just south of St. Petersburg. Obviously, Moscow is not happy about this, but you do have to remember that this is the same type of bomber that carried out a bombing raid in Dnipro back in January that killed 30 people. I don't know if it's the same plane, but it very well could be.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, the last time this happened was, I feel like that was like 6 months ago, where I knew a United States intelligence, or one plane had went down, but we were able to contain the intel before it exploded. I don't know if you recall what I'm referring to.
Yeah. Ukraine is reportedly trying to take back ethnically Ukraine areas within Russia that Russia refused to give up after the Soviet collapse of '91. And they've been met with a lot of controversy about that. But my opinion here is, you look at those areas and at this point it's kind of like, where does everything fall here?
Yeah.
Because now it's kind of like Ukraine can technically be like, they could technically be charged with war crimes here. Obviously, Russia's got a summit coming up, I think this month, specifically Putin and the president of South Africa. I'm going to attempt to pronounce his name right now. Cyril Ramaphosa. They have a summit coming up, and because Russia doesn't recognize Interpol, Interpol can't go in and arrest Putin, but South Africa does recognize Interpol. So this summit, which is supposedly going to take place in either Pretoria, Bloemfontein, or Cape Town, the location hasn't been decided yet. During the summit, it is very possible that Vladimir Putin could be arrested on charges of war crimes.
well deserved. I mean, yeah, you're into day 544 into yeah. I mean, I know that the of does he have lymphoma, or would he, there's even been stories of, is he sick, or what's gonna if no one can take him down, that he'd reclaim power, and that things would stay this way until he would pass away or some. Obviously, Ukraine couldn't go to NATO until after the war, so that would automatically would be obligated to attack Russia. And but I mean, Putin's the most dangerous man in the world right now. I mean, as a lot of dangerous people, but he's on the it's still just that's and he definitely had been brought that he could be charged against war crimes, and it should be presented. Unlike, yeah.
Yeah, the Netherlands are set to be giving Ukraine 42 F-16 planes. It seems like a very oddly specific number, but I don't know why. So I'm just not going to comment on the number, but it's good that Ukraine's finally getting aid.
Yeah, because I don't know why people don't think Ukraine needs aid. Ukraine wouldn't stand a chance without America's help and other countries' help in continuing to that and not intensify and that's that they've had that you've seen the most progress, and it would be very heartwarming if they came out onto, but they're really fighting day after day.
And I definitely do want to bring up that as we enter, the 1 year anniversary of some of the most brutal battles, Russia is still committing the same war crimes that we saw at the Azovstal Ironworks, the same war crimes that we saw in Bucha. Obviously, I'm really not going to dive into that because that is probably one of the more disturbing things about the war. Even as desensitized to a lot of stuff as we are from, exposure to the news from, the time that we were like really young, even as desensitized, it's still bad.
And yeah, we're still just and you can go into the school shootings and other things like that, and just being like, oh, it's that again, and not really even being too affected because it's on all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's more, we gotta action, not just saying, that we say thoughts and prayers a lot, but a lot of people want more, more action than just words.
And that's something that, obviously, like, that can't just be done by one person.
Yeah. I think we've circled back to, obviously, not actually trying to ban, assault weapons. We know what the Second Amendment is, but some regulation, because I think I've said this in episode 1, that other countries, you look at their rates of murder, and it's because of this regulations. It's and yeah, I mean, freedom's a big part of it, but to have it when it gets to the numbers, just it just there has to be regulation.
Yeah,
at the degree.
And that's part of the reason for our scores on the Fragile States Index.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to point out where we are on that. We're actually near the bottom of the list, which means we are not too unstable. But there's a lot of countries ahead of us. We place 141 out of 179.
Okay.
We are more stable than Barbados, but less stable than Poland, apparently.
Wow. I mean, we talked about the democracy statistics, and then that just not where we want to be.
And the democracy statistics, that did just get updated.
Are we still at 39?
We have jumped up to 30.
Hey, okay.
So
Maybe
we are now ahead of Slovenia, but behind Israel.
Okay, I mean, people listened and since our video in a little bit, and
39 is now taken by Lithuania.
Okay.
40, which is where South Africa was, is now taken by Malaysia. South Africa dropped down to 45.
Well, okay, yeah. All right. So I think I want to circle back to, I think what the biggest story that I saw through the week that started in a New York Times article, and I think it's a defend Trump and hammer Ramaswamy. DeSantis allies reveal debate strategy. And this was basically an exposed DeSantis outlined strategy for next week's GOP presidential primary debate. A memo encouraging, I think it was like in the memo, it's the 4 must-dos. One, attack Joe Biden in the media 3 to 5 times. Okay, not surprising, not original. State GRD's positive vision 2 to 3 times. All right. Hammer Vivek Ramaswamy in a response, and defend Donald Trump in an absence in response to a Christie attack. Okay. It was written by leaders of the the super PAC Never Back Down, published by an Axiom Strategy, and really that's more of the campaign. The Never Back Down campaign is really just where he's getting most of it. That's really his campaign. And on Twitter, Ramaswamy called the attack plan boring and hit Robot Rom for taking lame pre-programmed attack lines. Christie's, he's too weak to defend himself here. We're all running against him. I don't think we want to join forces, but so that's definitely that kind of got exposed, and because he met with Governor Kemp the other day, and he's really his biggest stance as the governor of Georgia. Trump lost the 2020 election. We need to move on and start defending. But a lot of it's going to be if since Trump's not there, that really stuff. Don't talk about him. But really that Christie's going to. So they're going to they're going to try to put their views forward, but it's hard to when his entire memo got exposed.
Now, speaking of debate qualifications, tonight is the deadline, so we will probably see some news regarding that in the middle of our podcast, which is cool because we have never had a breaking news moment here, and we've already had like 2 tonight.
Yeah.
But so far, Donald Trump obviously set to skip the debate.
Mm-hmm.
The candidates that have qualified, I'm going to list them off here: Asa Hutchinson, Doug Burgum, Chris Christie, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Tim Scott.
Yeah.
And then
I think that's probably going to be the final.
Well, here's the thing. 3 candidates are very close. And could reach that deadline by the end of the night.
So we'll see. But I think current poll by CNN, I think Trump 57%, DeSantis 17%, Vivek 6%, Pence 4%, Haley 3%, Scott 3%, Christie 3%, Burgum and Hutchinson at 1%. I know Suarez was really close, but I don't know if the other ones didn't.
Suarez is flying out to Milwaukee because he is the closest to debate qualification with Will Hurd, and I don't know how this happened, but the meme lord himself, Perry Johnson, are reportedly close to qualifying.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if they'll make it, but I wonder if Suarez can do a dive, but I don't know.
I want to
Um,
see Hurd in the debate so bad.
yeah,
Suarez, I'm on the fence with. Um, I don't know
yeah.
how Perry is even close.
Grabbing every last copy of his book and just yeah.
He's probably
So
donating them all to Sabres right now as we speak.
yeah, if yeah, if Suarez can get a final push, maybe, but um, yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, as we said in episode 2, like Hurd doesn't want to lie to get to a microphone, so um, he's gonna stay. Yeah, and you almost like too honest for where he is today, which the Cheney Hurd ticket.
Um, I just want to point out that as of right now, the only candidate that has not met any qualifications for the debate is Larry Elder.
Yeah, I was Larry Elder. I was gonna. He's just not. He didn't touch anybody hearts.
And
he
then
didn't.
we've got
He didn't
another.
convince. Yeah, he didn't convince anyone out of his family, and that's all. He made a big sob story about his family, so he didn't.
We now have
Yeah.
another major candidate in the Republican Party. He has just been classified as major today, and that is Ryan Binkley.
Really,
Yeah, he's now classified as a major candidate.
I knew he was like behind. It was like everyone we named, and then I knew like Binkley was like right behind, but I didn't think. So but I don't think he probably won't qualify at all. But
I'm just so confused on how, E.W. Jackson, Steve Laffey, and Corey Stapleton aren't considered major candidates, yet Vivek, Perry, and Ryan and Larry are.
yeah, I knew. I think DeSantis is pretty like he wants to like he's a hammer Ramaswamy, right? Because they're like the second, third. To him, it seems like his biggest threat alongside as I think he's going to defend Trump on most issues, but I think wanted to defend him the most. So yeah, there were a couple New York Times statistics that I think for any conservative that are using this reference somehow as someone curious hopping into the debate Wednesday, knowing where they stand, or I think there's like the right wing is like 26% of Republicans. They watch Fox News and Newsmax, very conservative, disproportionately evangelical. They believe America's on the brink of catastrophe. They love Donald Trump more than any other group. Like examples like Ted Cruz, the Freedom Caucus. So yeah, I think then there's the traditional conservatives. That's another 26%. This group most closely resembles the pre-Trump Republican Party, old-fashioned economic, social conservatives, oppose abortion, prefer corporate tax cuts to new tariffs. They don't like Trump, but they support him. So like Rick Perry, Tim Scott, Marco Rubio.
Yeah, basically all people that, are basically forced to.
Yeah. The moderate establishment, that's like the 14%. They are highly educated and affluent, socially moderate, or even on the liberal side. They embrace Reagan-Bush views on immigration, trade, and foreign policy. The Never Trumpers make their home in this group. So like Susan Collins, Charlie Baker, Kristen Nunu. That establishment. The Libertarian conservatives, another like 14%. They're disproportionately like Western and Midwestern, value freedom and small government, like relatively socially moderate, and other than the establishment, it's like Trump's worst group, like Rand Paul, Dave Bratt, and the blue collar populists, like mostly northern, socially moderate economic populists, hold deeply conservative views on race and immigration. Not only do they back Trump, but he himself was probably counted as one a decade ago, like Rudy Giuliani, Lou Bartolillo, and then like the newcomers who don't look like Republicans, but still, got like this woke agenda, like Vivek Ramaswamy. Even like those, he's kind of like one of the new of his kind. kind of to embrace. And then, yeah, there's also some statistics on abortion views on the candidates who took the stage. Former president, his Supreme Court appointees doomed Roe v. Wade, but he's non-committal on a national ban. He was probably more perhaps responsible than any other Republican on the current state of abortion access, appointing 3 of the 6 justices who overturned Roe, as well as a judge who invalidated the FDA's approval of the drug mifepristone. Ron DeSantis signed a 6-week ban in Florida, but he's been unequivocal about a national ban. He doesn't want to go past 15 weeks, I don't think. So pretty extreme on it, but not the most extreme. Tim Scott has supported a 15-week national ban, has even left the door open to something more stricter. He would support a stricter ban if Congress could pass one. Vivek opposes a national ban, but supports 6-week state bans. He said that abortion should be left to states while nonetheless calling it murder, but supports 6-week bans at the state level. Nikki Haley supports a 15-week national ban, but has indicated she thinks it's unlikely that Congress would pass such ban, but would sign it. Mike Pence is the biggest opponent in the field. He said that the abortion opponents must not rest until the procedure is banned nationwide. He's criticized Trump's suggestion that abortion policy should be left to the states. And Christie has opposed a national ban unless the states reach a consensus. Christie wouldn't sign a federal ban unless he saw consensus at the state level. Doug Burgum signed a near total ban in North Dakota, but does oppose a national federal ban because he believes in the federal scope of the federal government. So good on him. But yeah, Christie seems to have the most realistic take out of them.
The fact that you said good on Burgum,
I take that back.
That is the first and last time you will ever hear that phrase used by anybody.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, still pretty early in the race. Last year, though, why am I saying last year? That was like 4 years ago now. But all the major candidates had their paperwork filed by the new year. But this time around, it's looking like we could be seeing people declaring their candidacy right up until the conventions.
Yeah, I know Iowa's the first state to vote, which is that January? I could be wrong.
I think it's February.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be February because last year, after the Iowa caucuses, due to poor showings, Pete Buttigieg and Deval Patrick dropped out.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Now, I think we should probably get into something here. I really think this debate is going to change the polling a lot.
I mean, it'll see. A lot of voters will probably be confused, not surprised because I get that these were the circumstances. I mean, Trump's expected to, or at least hinting at skipping even more debates. But when, if he's that a lot of other candidates will have their, see how Vivek will debate for the first time, and DeSantis trying to run the show. But I think that memo getting exposed was pretty. I think all the candidates are going to use that against him. I think a lot of Tim Scott is going to, a lot of his CRT policy is going to go against him. I think, I think all opponents, Vivek will definitely, defend himself, and Christie will probably, but he won't really have a lot of, so it'll definitely be intriguing.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that the only thing stopping us from seeing Perry Johnson or Will Hurd in the debate, because they have both reached qualifications apparently, is the fact that they have not signed the RNC loyalty pledge.
Perry hasn't signed. I knew he said he would support the GOP nominee, but I guess it didn't say whether he'd sign.
This is. There's a whole lot of controversy on that because up until 2020, you know, even then the DNC doesn't have like a loyalty pledge to support the nominee. But the RNC introduced that after 2016, I believe, and that's because a lot of people were, really pulling for Jeb, really pulling for Kasich, Christie, Rubio, even Ted Cruz. Weirdly enough, Carly Fiorina. I don't know if you remember her run.
Okay, this was 2020.
That was back in 2016.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Even Cruz and
then 2020. Obviously, that whole election was hindered by COVID-19.
Yeah.
But this is probably going to be one of the biggest debates in American political history. So, I highly recommend that you guys watch it.
Yeah, it definitely it's interesting. I mean, a lot of people want to forget about it because it feels like so long ago. A lot of people are that because where the country was like in 2020 and so deep in the pandemic and wanting to not knowing how we're going to be able to wear masks and open schools safely. That's where we were at many years ago, and now it's in a totally different place. But because that was one of Biden's biggest priorities, and throughout those debates in 2020. But I think difference of knowing where we were then and now, and a lot has changed. But, yeah, it would definitely be intriguing. I think, yeah.
So I just want to point out that as of right now, like, we have a pretty good viewing statistic, at least for this podcast.
Yeah, I've been pretty satisfied. I've really liked how this has been going so far.
We have reportedly appeared on a total of 1,334 recommended sections.
That's awesome.
As well as, we hit like, lately we've been having a lot of views.
Yeah.
I just want to pull up traffic source.
Okay.
A lot of them just browsing through YouTube. Some of them are scrolling through channel pages to get to us. Some are searching it on YouTube. Quite a few external ones. Other YouTube features and playlist pages. So that means someone had to have put one of our videos on a playlist.
That putting our video on there, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, please continue doing what you can. Every view helps.
Yeah, I'll support it. I know. Even I think the biggest searching up Vivek Ramaswamy is 62% of that result gets to our video. So if
what?
any result helps.
Hold on, where did you find that? I gotta know.
The search terms. We had seen someone looked up Joe Exotic before.
Oh yeah, 1 minute.
For that. So Vivek is the top search. Not probably Christie will be next.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I do want to just mention here that I found it. Vivek makes up 62% of our views from searching. just
you,
his
Vivek.
name, Vivek 2024 and Vivek Ramaswamy podcast make up
I saw
12.5,
that.
as does Joe Exotic.
Which Vivek, he did have a podcast before his success, which I saw the other day. Which that was interesting to me. Wanting to be famous because he sought a podcast stardom prior. I thought that was interesting. So someone was looking for that, and
I'm floored right now. Yeah.
I think this will floor you. The news: Canadian woman sentenced to 21 years for sending Trump a poison-laced letter.
Great to see anthrax letters all over again.
Yeah, I guess she also sent letters to 8 Texas law enforcement from her home in Quebec in 2020, and now she's who knows if that was worth it. If she got her point across, she definitely.
Knowing the Republicans in the U.S., probably not.
Yeah. I think also another pretty big story that I think we hadn't brought up about, I think the age in politicians, I think with Dianne Feinstein and Mitch McConnell, and just, just what's been, because I knew just that I think everyone is that 35-second freeze for whatever was going on at that news conference, whatever he was on or whatever. He just that kind of and people were like, "Are you able to carry the job?" And he's still gonna continue. And but there was a report that other Republican representatives are getting concerned. One senator, John Coram from Texas, quote, "I don't know how much longer he will want to serve. I'll support him, but through another senator, Ron Johnson, he suffered a really bad fall. It's had an impact on him. I know other one he hasn't even been able to when people are having conversations with him, he's not able to see or his sensitive around him. So it's not if someone like get a hearing aid, but it's not. It's more than just a hearing issue. He can't even tell what's going on. So that makes me, if it's a cognitive issue, if someone's if someone's going on, if another senator was like quote, "I kind of do think he should step down." Murmurings about his future are inevitable. You hate to see him forced on it. It's definitely health concerns are definitely a common thing. Like I said, Dianne Feinstein is 90, and she's same thing with her. It wasn't just she had her shingles and then another fall, and then I saw all she had to all she had to do was say "I," her response, and she was reading off this page, and it took her like 20 seconds to just say "I." And even like Chuck Grassley is like 89, and even he's just quote, "When hell freezes over, there will be 3 things left: Chuck Grassley, Mitch McConnell, and cockroaches," said Senator John Kennedy.
Now,
so
I just want to point out that Strom Thurmond, I'm not sure if you know who he is.
sounds familiar, but I couldn't.
He pardon my language here, but he is a racist asshole, or was, because he's not alive anymore.
Oh, yeah, I heard of him.
He served in multiple positions in Congress. He served until he died at the age of 100.
Well, yeah, I think he died in I have died in 2003. I think he served over 48 years,
which is almost as long as Biden's been involved in government.
Yeah, that's what a lot of you stay. until the last. But yeah, I think they just don't back down.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, a lot of them don't back down.
Yeah.
Now, there were some pretty harsh words exchanged a couple of weeks ago between Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm not sure if we covered this last episode.
We did. We discussed that. Yeah, they called each other a little bitch on the Congress floor. We did. We got into that.
Yeah, that whole situation was a mess, and honestly, we were considering going a little more in depth about it, but looking into it, we were like, okay, we are going to get banned from YouTube if we do.
Yeah. Yeah, we almost, right now she's really desperate on wanting to be Trump's VP. So she's just, I knew she went on Newsmax the other day and was like, oh yeah, if we get in another 4 years, we're gonna take everyone down. I think the big message is it wouldn't be another 4 years of for the people, or it would be a revenge story. It would just, if that ever somehow of going after every politician there, and then after that they would go after people like us. Then they'd go after everyone.
And I just want to point out that what a lot of the GOP is saying, doesn't it sound like some stuff that was said by a certain Austrian dude in the 30s?
Who are you referring to?
He has a painting in CS:GO.
Oh yeah,
That dude.
yep.
Yeah, quite literally, the GOP is heavily influenced by Nazi Germany, I think. Because you've seen that image, right?
Oh yeah.
You've seen the image of, like, the Trump rally where everyone's doing the salute?
Yes, I there's definitely there's a huge quantity of that represents, and Alex Jones had represented a little bit of that
prior to the Kanye situation.
Of that, yeah. There was even I think there was something that I didn't even like bring up. I think last episode. If I think Nick Fionez. I think he's definitely a
Nick Fuentes.
Yes. He's definitely a he was a huge Trump influencer. And I knew he recently made a bunch of statements with Judge Chuckin, and about, I think, quote I think, quote, like fucking immigrant from Kenya. I think he had wrote the other day, and just bashing a bunch of racist rhetoric and towards her, and I knew I think back and he was a huge someone on Twitter a lot that quote, what can you and I do to a state legislator besides kill them? And he was definitely on Twitter a lot, and and influenced rallied a lot through J6, and but he was also I think that same kind of that was with Kanye back in Mar-a-Lago, and that huge months ago, that conversation between they were just in a room, and it's that same guy. I get November 9th, even like back into like 2020, he was like, groupers are going to, we got to stop the steal. And, he was just a huge influencer for things like that. And he continues to speak his mind.
Now, I just want to point this out here. Nick Fuentes has been giving me like major Enrique Tarrio and Richard Spencer vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know who Enrique Tarrio is, he's the leader of the Proud Boys.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously Richard Spencer, neo-Nazi. He organized the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, that caused one death and multiple injuries.
Yeah, you'd think Fuentes would be involved in that, because I think the DOJ the other day asked for 30-year sentences for the Proud Boy leaders convicted for the seditious conspiracies,
33.
including Enrique, and 30, yeah, including Enrique Tarrio.
That and Tarrio had actually expressed interest in running for president, and that is something that I really don't think anyone wants to think about here.
Yeah, I know, like, Rupert Murdoch encouraged Virginia Glenn Youngkin to seek presidency too. Even that would be
that would be rough, but I'm not sure who would be worse.
Yeah, Tarrio.
Yeah. The only reason I said that is because, obviously, Tarrio's like a bad dude, but you have to consider that Youngkin has made a lot of very, very, very controversial comments, especially when it came to the whole Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the BLM movement recently had like a major surge following the actions of NASCAR Cup Series driver Noah Gragson.
Where did? Okay.
So, if you don't know about Noah Gragson, he drives the number 42 for Legacy Motor Club. Did. He drove for the first 21 races of the season. Often considered one of the up-and-coming talents of NASCAR. And then on August 5th, he was suspended by NASCAR after he liked a very offensive meme relating to the murder of George Floyd on social media.
I'm reading that now. I'm reading that now. Yeah, that he got suspended, and he had already released a request from Legacy Motor Club. So now that him being now to be suspended for those kind of for supporting that kind of, I think that's interesting.
And I just want to point out that a similar thing happened to Kyle Larson in 2020. That was back when he was with Chip Ganassi Racing, but now he's at Hendrick Motorsports. Larson was like at the height of his career, and he said the N-word on a live stream, and a lot of stuff went down there. So it's giving major Kyle Larson vibes, but the thing is, Gragson still really hasn't made an apology on social media. Like, he made one that wasn't all that formal.
Yeah.
Whereas Larson was really quick to make an apology, like a really formal apology. So, yeah. And speaking of, Larson defended Japanese driver Kamui Kobayashi recently in a slew of racist comments, because a lot of people, especially from the conservative demographic, do not like that there are foreigners racing in NASCAR.
Wow.
And Larson, who I think he's either half or a quarter Japanese, I forget. He defended Kobayashi after someone called Kobayashi a racial slur on Twitter.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. I think I wanted to get to a new huge that I think was released a couple days after. I think a lot of breaking news last week. Well, in Georgia and everything. I think Ari Melber he provided a new exclusive showing former Trump vet Roger Stone, who he worked with Nixon,
Oh no.
pushing the indicted elector plot days before Trump lost the 2020 election, November 5th, and Biden had won November 7th. Stone's translated point was that Trump loses in a Republican state. You can declare fraud, use the state's Republican legislator to send an illegitimate slate of electors and steal the election. That was his point. So, point 1, declare fraud. Point 2, set an alternate state of fake electors. And 3, steal the election. That was always the plan. And it was a pretty damning documentary that was just him listing all those literally days before. And Rudy, Boris, all those lawyers, were involved working with the plan. And pushing through, and that I knew that was pretty interesting. I think Don Jr. had also sent some text messages November 5th to Mark Meadows saying GOP state assembly should step in. Republicans can control Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, North Carolina, et cetera, getting all these fake electors and do it that way. They had this plan of all those states that he loved, just more evidence of all that coming forth, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah. We do have some breaking news.
Yeah.
Larry Elder has reportedly qualified for the RNC presidential debate somehow.
Where really?
As of 2 minutes ago, he announced it on X.
That he might. If he announced it, that might not.
I'm skeptical, but here's the thing. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised because a lot of people are shooting up in polls right now.
His campaign has exceeded the 40K donors, surpassed a requirement of 200 plus donors in 20 states, pulled it over 1%. Signed the Beat Biden pledge to support the nominee. I don't know if that's not okay. That's not even what the pledge is called. So I
think that's just the nickname he was going with for it. But yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, he did tweet this, but we'll see if it's true.
It'll definitely be interesting to see what happens.
If that of all I thought even Perry and her were ahead. So who knows if he's bluffing or not? But he did tweet that. So
either he's bluffing or something major has happened in the past 24 hours that nobody knew about.
Yeah.
But then again, the past 24 hours have been extremely crazy. Yeah, obviously the sports world got hit pretty hard by the news coming out about Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wander Franco. And more news came out about it either yesterday or the day before. I can't remember exactly when.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, it wasn't just one minor there.
How many?
So far, 2 or 3, and the number is probably going to keep growing. So, yeah, it looks like we have just seen a superstar's career come to an end.
I'm sure. Wow, that does it for. Yeah, that's not going to fly. So, yeah.
A lot of crazy news in the past week. At this point, it's becoming harder and harder to keep up. Yeah.
I want to go into. I bet Larry Elder used this analysis by John Blake to. I get conservatives are going to use the verbal jiu-jitsu to turn liberal languages against
Verbal
them for Wednesday.
jiu-jitsu?
They're calling it the verbal jiu-jitsu to turn the liberal language against them for Wednesday's debate.
Verbal
So,
jiu-jitsu?
yep, the liberal jiu-jitsu, or verbal jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So that's we'll see how they use that.
People are already calling the debate a bloodbath. Wait, what did I tell me?
Before Wednesday.
Oh my god, Ryan Binkley too.
You're not telling me he qualified.
All
right, if this is on X, they might be just doing a surge of I
hope that's what's going on here, but I just saw it.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this can't be right.
I hope it's not.
Because this was posted yesterday.
But then again,
he said now we are waiting on the results to be okay. There's
so much going on there.
Now I have a heart, like, there's no way Binkley is going to be there Wednesday. Come on. X is going crazy right now.
Everyone on X seems to be going crazy. Apparently, the U.S. Virgin Islands Republican Party has suggested a change to the RNC debate rules.
They're always willing to change that.
It would essentially make former President Trump ineligible to nab the GOP nomination.
Would they new rules if a conviction? We talked obviously the Constitution already barring him from one thing, and then a conviction would probably also bar him from that.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. But here's the thing. The reason it's going on is because he's refusing to take part in the debates.
It's not helping. It's already catching up with him a little bit. I saw even Iowa's governor had said, that voters paid attention to section that he skipped throughout the fair. That he wanted them to. They wanted him to be there, and he had skipped it for, the reason is showing more and more, and that he canceled an event on Truth Social, and then now just really just tiptoeing, it's just because he's just under some, and then instead of him going to the debate, he's gonna already have a interview already recorded, and then Thursday expected to surrender. So
his polls are gonna fall.
I want if Thursday, everyone just lined up, Trump, Rudy, Powell,
I need to see the mugshots.
There's there's gonna be a mugshot, so that'll be they're gonna be taking that. And then one candidate I saw newly said on Reddit, I guess candidate Vivek Ramaswamy dropped a new 9/11 conspiracy theory Monday.
Oh no!
In an effort to deflect from Jan 6. The businessman turned GOP candidate claims the indictment against Trump are obviously politically motivated because he's seeking another term. And I don't know if we can handle his truth, told the magazine. Whatever it is, we can handle it. Government agents. How many government agents were in the field? How he suddenly changed the topic to the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Quote, I think it is legitimate to say how many federal agents were on the planes that hit the Twin Towers, Ramaswamy said. maybe the answer is 0. It probably is 0 for all I know, right? I have no reason to think it was anything other than 0. But if we're doing a comprehensive assessment of what happened on 9/11, we have a 9/11 commission. Absolutely, that should have been an answer the public knows well to. If you're going to do a Jan 6 commission, obviously that could have been a question we should get to the bottom to. I get when pressed, Ramaswamy admitted the comparisons between 9/11 and Jan 6 were invalid. So then, yeah, I guess, I think it's a ridiculous comparison, and only brought it up because I invoked a basis for the Jan 6 commission. I mean, I would take the truth about 9/11. I'm not questioning. I guess he seemed, as he was trying to deflect on one thing and then kind of got cut off being like, yeah, no, this is totally two different ridiculous comparisons that I'm just trying to think of anything else to say.
I'm really questioning a lot here. But reportedly, apparently according to Politico, Perry Johnson qualified for the debate. That was in an article posted on August 8th, I think.
Yeah, so
August 18th. August 18th. But
Wednesday's sounding more and more interesting.
There might be a second debate on Thursday.
Really?
Reportedly.
Huh. Well.
Apparently Tulsi Gabbard is considering joining the Republican Party.
Yep. I know she turned independent now, and she's been conservative leaning, wanting to. I would, if she did, I think the only reason would try to be Trump's VP. That would probably try to be the biggest reason why she would want to switch completely.
RFK Jr. and Kanye West have also been listed as potential running mate selections for the Republican nominee.
I like that they're in the same category.
As well as Herschel Walker.
Throw them all in that. That whole, there's politics, and then there's that.
Donald Trump Jr. though.
That would be really bad.
I could not handle a Trump Jr. ticket.
No. I think even with RFK Jr., I think there was one thing I saw a couple of weeks. He testified a couple of weeks ago on the House over censorship. Amongst, I think there was one report. Someone had one of his apps that he was funded under Gab was a very anti-Semitic app spread, and the one user who spread a bunch of messages ended up, I think he killed over almost like 19 Jewish individuals, and that using that app. And I think there was a lot of, he denied everything, and I think there was both sides. It was one side trying to be like, trying to explain, the headlines of, saying, this is misleading, or, these COVID guidelines aren't accurate, or, we should be able to believe everything. But when, spreading falsehoods, and, there's a limit, and obviously hate and on spreading that is totally different. One side was using it to, can you believe all the on Hunter Biden's laptop, and this and the on censor, and then the other side was, really putting off the say on censorship, and just what RFK Jr. is really just, and he's almost causing shame to his name and the family, just his recent practices and the things he said in the past, and really.
I'm looking at this, and all right. So here's the thing. I have found this. This is a list of candidates that have met the donor criteria, met the national poll criteria, met the state poll criteria, and signed the loyalty pledge. and
Okay.
this is bad. The ones that have met all four. This list is as of the 18th, so this has
I
probably
found a list
changed
too.
since then.
Yeah, I think I see a list here.
But it's Burgum, Christie, DeSantis, Haley, Hutchinson, Johnson, Ramaswamy, and Scott. So it does look like we'll be seeing Perry in the debate.
Wow.
Perry versus Vivek, that is... And if Larry Elder, maybe, too.
Yeah.
And Ryan
Binkley,
Binkley.
I think I'll go with Binkley and Elder are unlikely, and I think Perry's going to be something that is like too good to be true, kind of how he'll. I'm like saying, like, fingers crossed, or not, like, I'm not.
We're not
like,
endorsing Perry, guys.
Yeah, I'm not endorsing. I'm kind of like, I want to see it for the meme. I want to. I just, yeah. Because DeSantis, Ramaswamy, Haley, Scott, Burgum have the pledge donor polls, but I don't. Trump, Pence, or Christie, or Hutchinson, I don't think have signed the pledge yet.
Yeah, they've all signed the pledge. Now, pending results. So we will see this by later tonight, if not tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll see this by tomorrow. Suarez, Binkley, and Elder. Will Hurd hasn't even submitted the request, but we will see because apparently they can process that through real quick if they need to. So we will see what happens with Will Hurd.
Yeah, I think the breaking on Caitlin Collins just interviewed Ramaswamy tonight. It pressed him on his 9/11 comments. And yeah, I think, yeah, he completely, I guess, yeah, he kind of he seemed a little speechless. Yeah, he was like, yeah, that, if the government is lying, and yeah, so that's interesting.
Now we've already got a list of candidates so far that have been confirmed for the September 27th debate.
Okay, yeah, that'll be that'll be the next one, which, Trump is already aiming to skip that one as well.
Because there might be a second one on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And if so, we could potentially see more candidates take the floor.
Yeah, a lot can
go down there.
So is the deadline, though, midnight?
The deadline is midnight tonight for Wednesday. If they decide that one on Thursday is necessary, then the deadline will be tomorrow at midnight.
Okay.
So the ones qualified for September 27th, though: Chris Christie, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, Vivek Ramaswamy, Tim Scott.
Yeah, those are going to be the main one, and we've covered all of them in episode 1. If anyone wants to check that out, and we gave a little bit of a rundown of each candidate.
So the debate will be at 9 p.m. on Wednesday.
On Fox News.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna lie. I really think we're gonna see some crazy stuff go down.
It's gonna be entertaining. It'll be I'll be how awkward it'll be, a DeSantis Ramaswamy fight. Just what I know, the other Jim Acosta asked him the other, are you prepared to be hammered? And Vivek was like,
what?
That's
Pause.
the question. That's the question.
I can't.
That was the question asked, and he literally answered like he literally was like, "Yeah, I think I've always kind of been ready to be hammered in this kind
We
of
might
moment."
need to censor this part.
It's in the New York Times. In his memo, DeSantis that he wants to quote hammer Ramaswamy. YouTube
This is
with a hammer.
oh my god, the wording of this whole thing.
I didn't choose the.
That was Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy.
That's that's gonna be the top. Yeah, what battle was and just see how Christie does. And he got surged at 9% in New Hampshire. So some,
that's
but
nice.
Some surges, some, but
is that gonna help him on Wednesday night?
I don't know. Because it's gonna be Wisconsin voters, or I'm assuming, yeah. So
we will see though, because here's the thing: you have to remember there could potentially be up to 4 non-politicians running for president who are participating in this debate.
Yeah,
and that's a little scary.
Yeah,
because here's the thing. I just can't wait to see the reactions when like Perry and Vivek start going off.
Fingers crossed on Perry. Not endorsing, but we're excited. So
at this point, we need to start like selling like meme Lord Perry merch.
Yeah,
we should try and get the licensing for that.
Yeah. I think, and definitely. I'd say overall, I'd feel like going into a legally besieged Trump, focusing on a personal goal, trying to skip everything. It's in like that revenge kind of story against Hillary Clinton. 2016, lock her up. Now, very uncool to charge the opponent is kind of what he's. Now it's a different story.
Look overall, at Perry Johnson's merch store for a sec. Check it out, because he's selling I Stand With Tucker t-shirts and and I identify as non-binary t-shirts.
Yeah, when read, you can kind of for some, Christie doesn't have a shop, but most of these candidates have a shop store. Breaking news: Trump has confirmed on Truth Social he'll surrender on Thursday in Atlanta. So,
the amount of breaking news we have gotten.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is one of the more.
Let me look at the Perry. Yeah,
because like it says, according to the list that I have, that Perry Johnson qualified.
That's crazy. What his hat woke, keep kids off socialism. All right. Abolish the FBI slam. Nope.
Oh no.
Oh man. Yeah, this Wednesday's gonna be intriguing, guys.
I'm gonna come up with a thumbnail for
it. That'll be exciting.
1 minute. Hold on. I'm just making notes for the thumbnail because I think I know what it's gonna be.
Okay.
And if you've ever played the game Danganronpa, you'll know exactly what it is.
Okay.
It's probably just gonna be, or like if you've played Super Smash Bros.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you can picture what I'm picturing here. Just DeSantis versus Ramaswamy.
That's going to be the future thumbnail, guys.
We've got to find a way to make that happen.
Yeah, I think I knew there was a scare the other night in the Patriots preseason game with Isaiah Bolden, but per the team quote, had feeling in all his extremities and taken to I think he's already home and through further tests with local hospital, and I think the Patriots already canceled practice with Tennessee and are expected to stay in Foxborough and fly there Thursday for reference with that. So, but yeah, or like I said, soon before football starts, and yeah.
Now, I just want to point out that apparently Ryan Binkley was at the Lincoln dinner.
He was.
Oh God.
I did. That was the first time I had heard of him.
I've been looking into him lately, and I don't like what I see.
Don't expect. He's also not a politician. I think he was also from some company. So yeah, kind of just.
I hope that we can see Will Hurd make it.
Unfortunately, I don't think so, but I would like to. Yeah.
Hopefully next time around we'll see him make it.
Yeah. Yeah. Senator Bill Cassidy said the other day, quote, "I don't think Americans would vote for someone who's been convicted." That
is a good question.
Yeah, I mean, he added that Biden needs to be replaced, but that he wouldn't think votes would. Yeah, I mean, also any conviction is almost a slam dunk of out of the candidacy. So, but yeah.
Any conviction right now would throw the Republican Party into shambles.
Which they're really just they're kind of just they're just like, I'm pissed. How could you? Yeah, Graham just like, you'll be warned. They're just kind of they're just melting down. So they're yeah.
I have so many questions.
But yeah.
But already we've got one confirmed absence for the upcoming debate, and that is Donald Trump. And that's... We'll see what happens at the debate.
Yeah, and I think when we stream that, and I think that'll be a good upcoming. But yeah, I think this was a good episode.
Yeah, me too.
I think we definitely cover a lot, and a lot of breaking news. We should bear a stream. That'll be a pretty big day for the first. Yeah.
Before we end that, apparently Christie was invited to the debate, but turned it down.
Huh.
I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, I just more and more people just trying to, whether through X or just trying to make their name. Just yeah. But yeah, a lot of news throughout the week, and there's gonna be each episode. There's always a lot of news that breaks. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna, so we'll always,
yeah. So this will be a pretty intense debate. We will be live streaming it, and probably the next episode we'll be talking about it. Now, obviously, I think we're going to have to move the next episode up due to the fact that it is so close to the beginning of school for us.
Yeah, end of August is our starting. So yeah, we'll make, and then so I don't know if it would either start switching to Saturday or Friday night, and then we'll
figure out a way.
A lot of big things, but yeah, we'll see if I know Mike Lindell doesn't get in the way. I know he's always he'll pop up in the he always,
He'll be in the
he
audience.
orchestrates these big like conferences, and he like I know for weeks he was saying he was going to be God was going to bring this big plan that didn't have. I think only like 100 people showed up, and he was going to show this big for the evidence bearing everything, and instead a clip of Jimmy Kimmel popped up during his big live announcement. So he was like, "No, my cyber guys, they messed it up, and now we got the Kimmel guy," and that's how he distributes himself. So I don't own any of his pillows anymore, so I don't have to deal with them.
Yeah, but let's just continue to figure out what's gonna happen during this election. Obviously,
Yeah,
gonna be very big. But
yeah, we're keeping our eye on it.
yeah, please send stuff for us to react to.
Yes.
And also just leave a comment if you like our podcast or whatever.
Yeah, I appreciate the likes and or anything. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. That was Scapegoats. So 3. Romney. That's
I'm Baker.
and we'll see you.
All right. See you next time.
All right. Bye.